All right. Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. It is July 22nd, 2025. No intro music today because it's 9 o'clock in the morning and my mother in law is still asleep and I don't feel like blasting music. um, I'm running on like 4 hours of sleep. Um, I just My wife got up. I woke up and was like, yeah, I'm not going back to bed. I stayed up late last night getting to the last boss on Minish Cap. I'm now doing side quest shit. I did do a review of Minish Cap last night. I wanted to do it while it was fresh on my mind. And where I was on the last boss, I'm like, okay, I've essentially pretty much beaten the game. So I'm just going to go ahead and review it. So go check that out. I have a Zelda playlist if you're interested in Zelda. I have a Buy Me a Coffee account set up, so if you would like to donate $1, it helps. Pays for pens, paper, flash drives, that type of shit. Wherever you're listening from, you can find it in the description below. So, as far as updates, just been chilling. My wife got a new car, so I'm sending White Rabbit to the crusher. It's a sad time for Conspiracy Corner Podcast because you guys know that was my conspiracy mobile. By the way, I found Lammy Chillmeister, my co-host. So she will be joining us for future podcast. I still can't find Mr. Bill though. But yeah, she got like a Toyota SUV 2013 or 14, something like that. It's a newer vehicle. It's pretty nice too. I honestly needed a car more than her, but I get her old one, the Cadillac, so it's a newer 2002, 2003, so yep, and then we're going to send off the other one to get towed and crunched, and maybe I'll make like $300 off of it, so that'd be cool. I talked about this before on a previous episode. I got Oracle of Seasons, which is in the lineup for Zelda review. I have a Game Boy Color, and I have a Game Boy Advanced. So I don't have to buy an SP. I don't know why I thought I had to buy an SP. I totally forgot that I have a Game Boy Color. So I can link up Oracle of Ages, which I've beaten. Go check out that review. I can link it up to Oracle of Seasons and transfer over all my rings. And so I'm pretty stoked. I don't know why I didn't think of it, but I thought of it this morning. And I'm like, honey, I can still link my games. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, we have a Game Boy Color sitting over there. She's like, oh yeah. So that's about it for an intro. Oh dude, I do have to say this though. Yesterday was fucking crazy. I almost filmed it and put a short out. We have a Long John Silver's right next door that's opening, and the gas station that I work at is like right here. And there's a highway here, there's a road that leads here, a road behind us, and then Long John's is there. Dude, like, almost the entire shift, there was like, I'd say 3/4 of a shift, there was literally cars lined up all the way to the fucking highway. It was insane, dude. For Long John Silver's, like, look, I love Long John Silver's. The only reason I didn't film it and show you all how ridiculous it was because I don't want people knowing. I mean, I don't care if people know my location, but because it was the grand opening of Long John's, I didn't want like a coworker finding that video and then finding my channel, because I do bitch about work on here sometimes. It just is what it is. Not that I'm like super worried about it, but like if someone ever did find my channel, like I would just be like, yeah, I mean, I bitch about work sometimes, you know. That's why is it any of your fucking business? And it's not what I'm saying is, you know, I'm not making it up. It's the truth, you know. But I don't go out promoting my channel to like coworkers and shit, you know. But yeah, I love Lon John's, but like it's so fucking weird. Like it's like, have you guys never had Lon John's before? Like there's Lon John's in Lexington, the next town over, but it was just bizarre. I even had like customers coming in like, what's the big deal? Are they giving away free food? And I'm like, I don't think so. I'm just like, I guess everybody's just stoked to have Lon John's, you know? Um, but I started a playlist yesterday because I did 2 episodes on the Labubu doll and the conspiracy that's been going on with it. We just kind of talk about the conspiracy on one episode. Go check that playlist out if you're interested. And then we got into a deep dive on the creator of the Labubu because there's people saying that he's like cursing the dolls, and I just kind of get into the politics of the conspiracy community and people always accusing other people of being like Satanist, Illuminati sorcerers and shit, which gets old. And I put on that playlist too also. People were trying to relate Pazuzu with Labubu just because it sounds somewhat similar. And I didn't really find the connection. Sorry. But we did an episode on Lamashtu a while back, which was like basically essentially the precursor to Lilith in the Bible. So by the way, Lilith is over there sleeping, my cat. I named her Lilith. And we slightly delved into Pazuzu being essentially the Hasatan to Lilith. And I was like, you know what? I need to do a deep dive on Pazuzu. And Pazuzu, by the way, is like the famous statue that is found in the Exorcist movie. It's an actual deity. It's a demon or daemon, as far as I'm concerned. Demon, more likely. But also, it's been kind of thrown into infamy a little bit. Not only the Exorcist as being the main demon that possesses the girl and stuff from the statue. Also, there was... I love true crime. I've covered true crime a lot on this channel. But I haven't covered him yet. But there's a fellow who... I guess he would be considered a serial killer. Super mentally ill. Just nasty individual. Like, literally nasty. Like, doesn't wipe his ass, like a gross, would shit on the floor, crazy. He's just batshit. He was an occultist, and he changed his name to Pazuzu Alagard. We're gonna have to do a whole deep dive on him, and do an episode on him. There's an awesome like 3-part, I think it's 2 or 3-part documentary on YouTube of Pazuzu Alagard. Go check it out if you can find it. It's fucking insane. The whole story is insane, but we'll do an episode on him one day. But it's just so weird. I've been getting all these synchronicities in comments, and that's the beautiful thing about conspiracies. It's like a spider web. I'll do one episode and end up doing like 3 or 4 episodes just from that one episode. So today we're doing a deep dive on Pazuzu. So, in ancient Mesopotamian religion, Pazuzu is a demonic deity who was well known to the Babylonians and the Assyrians throughout the first millennia BCE. He is shown with a rather... BCE, by the way, is before Common Era. I guess, like, there's people who are non-Christian. Like, I ain't gonna lie, dude, I'm pretty fucking anti-Christian. I mean, I'm wearing a Lucifer sigil ring, for Christ's sake. I don't like Christianity. But BC's like before Christ, and like BC's before Common Era. If you didn't know that, I think it's kind of ridiculous. Like I still say "bless you" to people. You know, like it's not that big of a deal. And I've been through religious abuse, so that's not really, to me, it's like, bro, get over yourself. He is shown with a rather canine face. By the way, this is what he looks like. The classic depiction from The Exorcist, basically. With abnormally bulging eyes, a scaly body, a snake-headed penis. Dope. That's pretty metal. The talons of a bird, and usually wings. And he has like 4 wings, like 2 at the top, 2 below. Kind of like the typical Anunnaki. He was believed to be the son of the god Hanbi. So, who is Hanbi? We'll do a quick little, slight little dive into that. In Sumerian and Akkadian mythology and Mesopotamian mythology, so essentially where the story of the Anunnaki and stuff come from. We've covered the Anunnaki tons of times on this channel. You'll just have to look around my not my playlist, but my episodes in general. If you're interested in the Anunnaki, we've done tons of episodes on it. Because I am an ancient astronaut theorist. Hanbi, or Hanpa, or Hanpa, I guess would be another name, more commonly known in Western text, was the Lord of Evil, Lord of all evil forces, and the father of Pazuzu. So, sounds like a bad dude. Aside from his relationship with Pazuzu, very little is known of this figure. Some have connected Hanbi to Hallel, the Jewish name equated to Lucifer in Christian thought. So, as we've studied, we've covered multiple deities on this channel before. As you guys know, many of these lowercase gods are aka fallen angels. And they go by tons of different fucking names. Aliases. I have a theory behind that. I think that they actually were actual entities, and kind of like outlaws, you go by aliases, you know. If you're doing shady shit, you're gonna have aliases, you know. That's my theory. So he's Lucifer. His father is Lucifer. Pazuzu is the son of Lucifer. Hanbi's characteristic of being a shadow born in the underworld, so he's shadow, different from the Sumerian gods Dinger of the underworld, would make him more similar to the concept of the Jewish Shadim or the Islamic Shaitan. So, Satan. Pazuzu was usually regarded as evil, but he could also sometimes be a beneficent entity who protected against winds bearing pestilence. So winds with like locust. You could pray to him or do a spell using him, I guess, to protect against locust, perhaps cicadas, flies, pestilence of the air. And if you notice too, Enlil, which a lot of people equate with Lucifer, is, I think his title was either the Prince of Air or the Lord of Air. Enki's was water. He's more of like a Poseidon figure. Once again, these entities they have aliases, so it would make sense if Pazuzu's father is essentially Lucifer, that he would also control air, or at least somewhat deal within that element of the pentacle, you know. And he was thought to be able to force the demoness Lamashtu, which, go check that episode out, we got into that, his rival, back to the underworld. Amulets bearing his image were positioned in dwellings to protect infants from Lamashtu, because Lamashtu is essentially Lilith, aka Succubus, which can change its sex into aka incubus, which is essentially night terrors, and thought to, because there's a lot of infant death back in those days, and honestly it still goes on a lot today, and because of lack of like science, they blamed it on a she demon, the first wife of Adam, which I did a video on. Not a full episode, but I did a video on talking about evidence of Lilith in the Bible. If you want, you can go look that up. And pregnant women frequently wore amulets with his head on them as protection from her. So pregnant women would wear amulets. I'm guessing you would have like little amulets for your child. He's a protector of children against Lamashtu. So that's, I ain't gonna lie, that's kind of cool, you know. As in apotropaic entity, and apotropaic magic or protective magic is a type of magic intended to turn away harm or evil influences, as in deflecting misfortune or averting the evil eye, which is actually what I got here. Atropaic observances may also be practiced out of superstition or out of tradition, as in good luck charms, amulets, or gestures. So, he's a protective entity. Now, that being said, I'm not saying you should, because there's going to be some idiot Christian in the comments section when here I am trying to educate. They're going to be like, oh, he's saying you should pray to this demon. No, I'm not saying that at all. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. You guys know me. I don't give a fuck what you believe. The only time I actually care what you believe is if you're harming children sexually, physically, or like another person. Like if you have some weird ass cult where you're like raping women or something, yeah, or sacrificing animals or sacrificing people, yeah, then I got a problem with you, dude. But besides that, I don't give a fuck what you believe. Muslim, Jew, I don't care, you know. Just harm none, you know. He is considered as both a personification of a destructive and dangerous wind. So he can personify as wind, a dangerous wind. So when next time you feel a creepy gust of wind, like I talked about once on this channel, maybe it's Pazuzu, you know. I think they kind of depict him like that in The Exorcist too. Not too, but also. But also as a repellent to other demons. One who safeguards the home from their influence. So I would say this kind of ties in with Christianity's slightly, or demonology, I should say, because there is ranks of demons. You have like principalities, you have princes of hell, lords. They have their ranks. It's kind of like the military, really. I mean, Lucifer, what was it, 1/3 of the angels, like 33,000 or something. So he had ranks and stuff in his army. And I still think that exists today with these entities. They're in competition with each other, I believe, in my opinion. But they also work together for the main goal. In particular, he protects pregnant women and mothers whom he could defend from the machinations of Lamashtu. He is invoked in ritual, and representations of him are used as defense charms. I am an occult item collector, so I would love to get a Pazuzu charm just to have it, you know. I've got all sorts of occult items. I have a playlist, occult item playlist. Go check it out, dude. I make and collect occult items. I've got a shit ton in my storage unit. It's just, I find that shit interesting. Pazuzu has two chief aspects. Firstly, as a domestic spirit, wherein he is frequently portrayed as benevolent and secondly as the wandering wind demon, traversing the mountains wherein he presents a wilder character. So he resides in mountains. Pazuzu as domestic protector deity. There is a well-known documented use of Pazuzu in Mesopotamian white magic. His inhumane and grotesque form can be inferred to have been used to frighten away unwanted guests. By the way, I say it in a generic sense just to make it easier for people who are not really that wise in the occult. There's no such thing technically as like white or black or gray magic. Magic is kind of like electricity. Electricity is not good nor bad. You can use it to revive someone who's dead, or you can use it like the electric chair to kill someone. That's the best way to describe magic. You are tapping into something. Now, what you do with that something is up to you. I guess there's no such thing as good and bad magic, though. It's just a force, like Star Wars. It's the Force. What you do with it, and that all comes back to you, not it. So, as well as prevent his wind demon subjects from entering the home and wreaking havoc. So you would appease this deity because he has underlings and he controls them. His role in magic and ritual is documented with inscriptions on the backs of his statues or in ritual text. Spells, incantations, and special artifacts were used to gain favor and protection of the demon, such as artifacts being placed in and around the home or worn on the person to achieve the desired effect. So like idols, statues, amulets. Protective objects related to Pazuzu. Large number of Pazuzu heads have been discovered, made from a variety of materials, chiefly terracotta, but also bronze, iron, gold, glass, and bone. These heads often feature holes or loops at the top, allowing them to be worn on necklaces by pregnant women in order to protect the baby from evil forces. Occasionally, the head... I'm not gonna lie, dude. I'm not saying, like, demons are good, but, like, he doesn't sound that bad, dude. He opposes Lilith. He protects babies. He protects from pestilence. I'm not seeing where he's evil. Sorry, playing devil's advocate, literally. So, allowing them to be worn on necklaces, we just read that. Occasionally, the heads would be attached to cylinder seals or worn as brooches as well. Some of these heads have been found in graves. Carved amulets are common. Ritual texts from Uruk state that a woman could be given a bronze necklace or amulet of Pazuzu in order to protect her from miscarrying, so he prevents miscarriages, via the influence of Lamashtu. Some are rectangular and depict Pazuzu either standing or crouching. Larger amulets made from stone could be hung on the wall to protect the room or an entrance, so like an archway. Kind of like people put crosses in archways, or horseshoes. Horseshoes like this are like good luck. This is all your luck pouring out. A lot of people didn't know that. My dad used to hang them upside down for some weird reason, which is funny because it's like, dude, that's bad luck. It's so weird too. He was like super Christian, but he would use dowsing rods and hung horseshoes up. So like, it's just interesting where he would be like, oh, that's cool though. Like folk magic's cool, you know. One of this type of amulet that was found inside a home of the Neo-Assyrian town Dur Katlimu, was lying on the floor of the main reception room and was thought to have been hung on a wall facing the entryway. So here's some pictures of some of these amulets. In the lower left, you can see that that's the crouching one. Some are just to the heads. You can see the loop on the lower right one, and the loop on the, well, I think all three of them have loops except for the crouching one, so that way they can be worn. Interesting. Ritual text. Relating to the representations of Pazuzu, text inscriptions on the backs of representations or on tablets would invoke or otherwise mention Pazuzu. A ritual text from Assyria prescribes a Pazuzu head as a way to banish sickness. So, if you're sick and you choose to work with this entity, you can use him to banish sickness. Like I said, once again, I'm not finding where this dude is evil. I'm sorry. I'm not saying go out and work with demons or, I'm just saying I'm curious where the evil part comes in. Similarly, a ritual incantation against Lamashtu from the late Babylonian period directs the reader to make a Pazuzu necklace and hang it around the afflicted person's neck. In the bilingual Sumerian and Akkadian version of the Compendia, Pazuzu identifies himself. I am Pazuzu, son of Hanbu, king of evil Ilu demons. I was enraged in violent motion against the strong mountains and ascended them, where he lives. So he's a king of Lilu demons. I'm not sure what that is. And he became enraged and in violent motion against the strong mountains, ascended them. I don't know why he got pissed off at the mountains, but he got mad at them and decided to live in them. I don't know. Another text, also narrated by him, describes Pazuzu encountering other Lilu demons in his travels and breaking their wings, therefore preventing them from inflicting harm. I ascended a mighty mountain that shook. In the evil winds I encountered... Evil winds, by the way, we've covered this in previous stuff. Sitchin, who was an ancient astronaut theorist, his translation of the evil winds is literally the radioactive winds from nuclear war. The Anunnaki blowing shit up. Interesting shit. And I encountered, there were heading west. One by one, I broke their wings. In another text, he is perceived as more malicious. Maybe this is where the bad comes in. As the narrator addresses him as agony of mankind, suffering of mankind, disease of mankind, and chants telling the demon to not enter the home. So, yes, there was a lot of Pazuzu worshippers, but it sounds like there was a lot of pushback too. Interesting. By the way, how metal are those titles? Agony of mankind. That sounds like a metal band. Disease of mankind, suffering of mankind. Iconography. According to Eckhart's Fromm study, the appearance of Pazuzu has remained fairly uniform throughout his history. Pazuzu is depicted as a combination of diverse animal and human parts, so a chimera. If you believe that this lowercase entity, well, not lowercase god, he's a demon, even they call him a demon. If you believe what I believe, and honestly what the Bible says, is that, like, there was chimeras back then. We did an episode talking about satyrs in the Bible once. I think the episode's called The Sword of Goliath. It's an old episode. Go check it out. But I believe in chimeras. I believe that a lot of the Greek myths with chimeras and in general, that fallen angels, aka aliens, aka lowercase gods, whatever you want to call them, were fucking around with genetics of animals and humans and making hybrids, dude. So Pazuzu, in my opinion, could have been a physical chimera entity, man. His body is canine form. through scaled, not fur, with bird's talons for feet, 2 pairs of wings, a scorpion's tail, and a serpentine penis. Which could fall into phallic worship, also serpent worship, a little mixture of both, which a lot of people say that serpent worship and phallic worship are very similar. Actually, Roseanne Barr says that, that the snake in the story of the Adam and Eve is actually a dick. Also, what was I gonna? Basically, the snake is not a bad symbol. Even Jesus referred to himself in certain parts of the Bible as the good serpent. When you tell a Christian that, they freak the fuck out, but it's true. One of his titles was the good serpent. But it's a symbol, honestly, of wisdom and eternity, immortality. That's basically what it is in the occult. Not an evil symbol. He holds his hand right up and his left hand down, so as above, so below. We've discussed that in occultism. That's not a bad thing. Jesus has even been pictured doing it. His face is striking, with gazelle horns, human ears, a dog-like muzzle, and bulging eyes. And wrinkles on the cheek. So, I think you get the gist of it. There we go, though. I told you guys I'd do a deep dive on Pazuzu. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really see where he's evil. Sorry. People are gonna give me pushback. I get it, I got a lot of Christian listeners, but I'm not a Christian, so I don't see the evil part of it. But I love you all. Please like, share, and subscribe. Go check out all those other episodes I mentioned. That way I don't have to rehash information. If you're interested in the occult, I have a shit ton. I'm on episode 478, so there's a shit ton. I talk about everything. Conspiracy, paranormal, all of it, I love it. It's all interesting to me. But I've been wanting to do this episode for a little bit. Hope y'all enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe, and you all have a good day. I may or may not put out another episode. Who the fuck knows? Love y'all.